Hello, my friends. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. Getting a little bit of a lag this morning. Don't know if I've got a slow internet connection or what. Let me just take a comment here. Peyton Matt Davis. Peyton Matt Davis is from South Carolina. He doesn't like the way we do things up here in the North Country, calling us a Yankee. If you get a chance, when I'm done here, go to the Facebook page and check out the post that I made about the guy who captured the video of the bobcat running down the turkey, which I think is just wonderful video. And a guy named Peyton Matt Davis said, "Yeah, instead of shooting video, you should have shot the bobcat, you loser." Which doesn't sit right with me because, number one, it would be illegal here in Michigan. And the fact that Peyton Matt Davis thinks we're Yankees and decided to call a fellow hunter, the guy who shot the video and couldn't legally shoot the bobcat, called him a loser, doesn't sit right with me. So let's have some fun with Peyton Matt Davis. Anyway, my friends, good morning. How are you? Cliff, where's Cliff? Cliff is in the deer woods. Good for you, Cliff. Craig Plowman, my good friend. How are you, buddy? I see that Michelle has a little something for baby Michelle. God bless you guys. You're wonderful. Mad Jack, good morning, buddy. How are you? Mike, nice to have you along with us, my friend. Bernie says, I can only shake my head at some of those comments. Stupid comments. My comment was, just when I can't believe how stupid people are, I see a comment like that one. JT, good morning, buddy. How are you? Joe, nice to have you along with us. Rocky, the coolest name on the stream this morning. Finally getting out to hunt tomorrow. 41 Great Lakes is ready to rock. Rocky, this is interesting. Number one, I'm glad you're getting out to hunt. And number two, the 41 Great Lakes. Let us know how that goes. I am very interested in the 41 Great Lakes. I think that straight-walled cartridge shows a lot of promise. I'm very happy with my 350 Legend, but if I was going to make a change, I bet it would be to a 41 Great Lakes. I'm really interested in that cartridge, in that caliber. So good luck to you, and Rocky, let us know how it goes. Okay. So, what's going on? The Michigan's firearm opener was last weekend. Did you get a chance to get out? Did you get an animal? Did you have fun? Let me read you some numbers. And this is a text I just got from Chad Stewart, who is the big game he's the head whitetail guy for the DNR. I asked him about number 100 numbers. Did a Saturday opener affect the 100 numbers? Because people have been saying, if we could just get a Saturday opener, it would put more people in the woods. While Chad could not give me numbers of hunters, he did give me harvest numbers. Let me get back to those in just a second here. Bill Hoffman saw a fox downtown Flint this morning. That was pretty cool. Bill Hoffman, who was rocking a vintage Mike Avery News 5 Outdoors Blaze Orange hat on opening day. How cool is that? So Chad Stewart says, don't call me right now because I can't talk right now, that there have been 36,000 and change deer reported on opening day. This is down from the 42,000 seen on opening day of 2024. He says the number should continue to grow slowly as some hunters continue to report after the 72-hour window closes. Simply looking at our harvest numbers, though, through November 18th, not our reported harvest, we've seen a 3% decrease from last year at this time. While nothing is finalized, I suspect that the Saturday opener really didn't move the needle in the early season as it relates to deer harvest, unless our reporting rates have varied wildly. To clarify, the 3% decrease is through all of the deer seasons. Our firearm harvest is down about 6% compared to the previous years. So it does not look like the Saturday opener made a significant impact in the number of hunters in the woods if those hunters' success rate is roughly equivalent to previous years. Cliff, one of the guys in our group got a 3-point Monday. The deer was a 6-point last Friday. Lost one side of the rack already. Wow. Judy checking in from the deer blind. Good luck to you, Judy. Nice to have you along with us. Hello, Renee. We'll finally get to hunt Thanksgiving Day and Thanksgiving weekend. Good luck to you, Renee. Paul, good morning. How are you? Uncle Johnny, it was so nice to spend some time with you and Aunt Debbie last night. And Uncle Johnny, congrats on your nice buck. Really nice buck. Good job, buddy. Tommy checking in from the deer blind. Tommy, good morning, buddy. How are you? Good luck to you. So for the opening day, I was out on our lease property with my son James, my grandson Trent, and my granddaughter Addison, and it was wonderful. Trent rode out with me, and Addie, rode out with her dad, James. Trent says, Grandpa, I'm going to be at your house at 5. I'm like, that's a little early, but I'll be ready. So Trent shows up at 5. We get out to the lease property at 5:30, and about 5 minutes to 6, the phone rings, and it's James. He says, hey, good morning. How you guys doing? I said, well, we're just walking into our stands right now. And this is like not even 6 o'clock yet. He says, we're just leaving. James said, we're just leaving the house. So Trent was a little bit excited to get out there, and so was I. Arthur, come on in here, buddy. Come on in, say hi. The national traveler, Art Lewis, who traveled the country on a train, which I am still fascinated by.
Yeah. Went out to San Diego, went from Ann Arbor to Chicago, Chicago to Los Angeles, Los Angeles to San Diego. After a few days in San Diego, I flew up to Portland, Oregon, and came back Portland, Oregon to Chicago, Chicago to Ann Arbor.
I think that sounds like a riot.
I love it. I've been on trains all my life. Just love it. Saw a lot of wild animals from the train, too.
Did you?
Yeah.
No shots, I suspect.
No, I had no shots.
Art, you have made this very clear that you are not a hunter,
Not
but
a
you
hunter.
support the hunter's
100%.
ability. Why is that?
Because that's the only way we can manage the herds. There's no other way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's it. I mean, it's the bottom line. I would like to go out with my camera with a hunter, but I'd have to do it in a way that didn't disturb the hunt.
Well, or go out with some guy who can see deer, because I haven't been seeing any deer, so I'm not your guy.
Well, ask your kids. Then.
No kidding. Art Lewis, a member of the Michigan Broadcast Hall of Fame. You can hear him on WSGW AM and FM and WSGW.com.
See ya.
All right, buddy. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate it. Who have we got here? Mark, good morning. How are you? Craig Plowman says, I believe there are so many hunters using crossbows now, and November 15th does not mean as much as it once did. I agree with you completely. I don't know about the crossbows. I think it's true, Craig, but I think it's definitely true that the early seasons have diminished the celebration of November 15th, because November 15th used to be the opening day for everything. Ken checking in from the blind. Good luck to you. Jim, good morning. How are you? Paul, no luck this weekend. Hannah was a trooper. Many shots. Seemed really slow. Wasn't the experience I wanted Hannah to have, but what can you do about it? I'm going to echo that, Paul. I actually was set up on our lease property, private land, on a food plot overlooking state land opening morning. I expected, again, with the Saturday opener, that there would be a lot more shots than there were. And we didn't hear that many shots for opening day and for a Saturday open and being next to state land. I did not hear that many shots. Joe, good morning, buddy. How are you? Ken Carson's checking in. Great morning to be hunting in far western Kentucky. Youngest son already out. He's taking the afternoon shift. Us old guys like that afternoon shift. Tommy, thank you. We haven't seen many deer in our area. Same for us, Tommy. I mean, my granddaughter Addison did take a buck the opening evening, November 15th, and Trent did take a doe Sunday evening, November 16th. But the number of deer we have seen, and I haven't even had a shot at anything, not a buck, let alone a buck. I haven't had a shot at a doe, which leads me back to my thoughts that if you, the DNR, want us to take more deer, give us the tools to do that. On our lease property, it's 160 acres. And I mean, we are blessed to have access to this land, but there's really nothing on this property that holds deer or attracts deer. So we need something in there. So we put in food plots. The food plots, I got to be honest, just aren't doing the job. I think next year I need to have Rich Krazan of Killer Food Plots come over and help us out and see what we can do differently, because we have food plots. We had a huge drought right after we put them in, we being my son James. So they never did grow like we wanted them to. But they're not attracting deer and they're not holding deer. Some of the properties around us are using bait, and that's where the deer are. I'm not saying you have to sit over a pickup truck load of sugar beets, but if you have some kind of bait in front of you on certain properties, it will drastically increase your odds of seeing deer. And if you're seeing deer, you can harvest deer or decide not to harvest deer if it's not the animal you want. Also, with the use of bait, it allows you to wait till the animal positions itself so that you can get a better, quick, clean, humane killing shot in theory. So that's where I stand on that. But I've sat in 1, 2, 3 different stands so far and I haven't seen a deer yet. Paul, usually opening day where I'm at sounds like the 4th of July at dawn. Bernie, now see, Bernie's in a different situation. Bernie, what happened to my shot here? Where'd I go? Okay, I'm back. Bernie's in a different situation. Bernie has a beautiful farm where he's seeing a lot of deer, and they harvest a lot of deer. Bernie says, we saw a lot of deer here, Mike, mostly does and fawns. I let some nice bucks go by. I shot a big doe. My children and grandchildren don't have it in them to shoot a doe just yet. I hear you, Bernie. That is my goal for the season. My goal is not to shoot a buck, because I know deep in my heart that I will not see a buck on our lease property that is big enough that I want to shoot. So I am out there doe hunting. And the first mature doe I see, I will shoot her. But I haven't seen any yet. Billy, good morning, buddy. How are you? Ken says no deer here yet either. Patrick, morning, headed home from the Western UP deer camp. How was it? How was it? At Western UP, that's a pretty rugged area, pretty remote area. How was the hunt, Patrick? Tom Skakel, good morning, Mike. Pretty slow in the thumb where he's at. Well, stay at it. We all know you can't kill a deer from the couch, right? Tommy, we only heard 5 shots opening morning. We heard more than that, but 5 shots, that's nothing. John, very slow first 4 days of the season. No buck seen. Oh, listen to this. And only 1 to 2 deer seen daily on our 400 acres in Montmorency County. Our woods is very torn up from last spring's ice storm. Took us all summer just to clear a path to our 3 blinds, trying to get loggers to clear out our woods and salvage the logs. Mike, Sportsman's Quest, checking in. Good morning, buddy. Ron, how are you this morning? Patrick said it was slow in the Western UP. Mike, good morning. 19 degrees, Pure, Michigan. Where are you, Mike? What part of the state? It was 23 where I'm at. Ed, he took a 7-point waiting on a doe. Good for you, Ed. I say I'm doe hunting, but if the right buck walks in front of me, believe me, I will shoot him. I just don't think it's going to happen. At this point, there's a big 3.5-year-old 7-point that I would shoot in a heartbeat. We haven't seen him lately. Rose City. It's 19 degrees in Rose City. And there's one more still walking around we've seen on trail camera that I would shoot if I get a shot. The rest of them, I think I would just let go and shoot a doe. And I do want to shoot a doe because we're out of venison. And since I didn't shoot a bear this year, we need to put some meat in the freezer. I need to put some meat in the freezer. Joe Bean, the only thing I killed over the weekend were Little Debbie's. Stack them up pretty good, did you, Joe? Chris, a nice 9-point opening morning, an 11-point with his compound during archery season. Good for you, Chris. Good for you. Chris, you sound like one of those guys, and I'm not trying to be a jerk here. You sound like one of these guys who is very serious, takes his deer hunting very serious, and knows what you're doing. And I have a lot of respect for that. I, on the other hand, I think typify the more the average Michigan deer hunter, in that I'm not that hardcore. I'm not that good. People say, well, if you were truly a good hunter, you wouldn't be saying you needed bait to see deer. I admit that. If I was a really good hunter, I wouldn't even be wanting bait. But I'm not a really good hunter. And even though the piece of ground that I'm on is a very nice piece of ground, it does not hold deer without a reason for the deer to be there. Mike, only a spike so far, lots of little yearlings at your spot. Mike Van Warmer. Sat with my son opening morning. We heard 106 shots. There you go. His first gun opener, had a lot of fun, didn't even shoot anything. Thank you, Mike Van Warmer, for bringing that up. I didn't shoot anything this weekend, but I was so blessed to be out there because I was out there with my son and two of my grandkids. Took a picture out there, all of us in blaze orange. It's our yearly traditional picture on the opening day of the gun season. Addie got a buck. Trent got a doe. It was wonderful. I felt connected. I felt connected to my family. I felt connected to our history of deer hunting in Michigan. So you're right, Mike. You don't have to shoot anything to have a wonderful experience. Thank you for bringing that up. Todd, still here in the middle of the Alpena County, 19 degrees. Patrick got a 9-point in Hillsdale County the week before the gun opener. Okay, so if you're just joining us, I was just reading some stats from Chad Stewart, who is the head of the Michigan DNR. He's the head deer guy in Michigan. He said it looks like the Saturday opener did not affect the number of hunters in the woods. Let me bring your attention to a post I made on Facebook. Very, very cool video of a bobcat running down a turkey. And some guy named Peyton Mac Davis, he's from South Carolina, maybe he's from North Carolina, and he calls us Yankees. And he says, yeah, instead of video, you should have shot that bobcat, you loser. Well, Peyton, I hate to tell you this, but he says, I would expect that from a Yankee. I think they know it all. Shoot the bobcat, let turkey live so they can produce. My response, Peyton, can't shoot a bobcat without a tagging out of season here in Michigan. You should probably make sure you know what you're talking about before you call a fellow hunter a loser. I'm going to leave his comment up there just to let people have fun with it. Normally I would just delete it, but I'm in a pretty crappy mood this morning. So I see something from Peyton Mac Davis, I leave it up there, let him have it. You know what I mean? Let him have it, There's Yankees, we get after them Yankees, yeah, well, let them a loser and all that stuff. Yeah, well, Peyton, whatever name is, yeah. All right, Kevin, good morning, buddy. How are you? Everything is nocturnal at his place, but he had a wonderful time with his grandson. That's what we're seeing, too. Of course, yesterday I couldn't hunt, and the deer were moving like crazy, and I knew they would be because we had a northeast wind and it was going to rain or snow. Okay, here's what's coming up this week on the Outdoor Magazine radio show. My first guest this week is a very good man. His name is Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats. Going to talk about his opening day harvest, about the services they have for hunters. Also, we're kicking off the Ham for Holidays tonight on Wednesday Night Live at 7 o'clock. Plus, Paul Perone of VersaSkins, he took a really nice buck toward the end of the archery season, just after rotator cuff surgery. I'll talk about his Black Friday sale coming up. Then Dan Cook from the Michigan Wildlife Council joins me. In our second hour, Kevin Vistison of the Deer Hunter Podcast talks about hunting the late season. Then Andy Weiss of Truck Trolley. He's come up with a new product for his truck trolley to make it even more useful. Also talk about his opening weekend hunts. His father-in-law got a nice buck. And in hour number 3, Kyle Green of the Greenway Outdoors TV show talks about, I think it's their third season on History Channel, their experiences in Africa and why he fights so hard to protect our outdoor lifestyle and hunting in general. And we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Miner. And I bet that Dave has another venison recipe. Jerry, I saw that bobcat video. I wondered why the turkey didn't fly sooner. I wondered the same thing. The turkey's, he's beating feet down that trail, that 2-track. trying to get away from the bobcat, and he waited till the last minute to fly. All he had to do was fly earlier, and the bobcat would have been left in the dust. Bobcats got to eat too, and we've got far more turkeys in Michigan than we have bobcats. So when Peyton, whatever his name is, Mac Davis or whatever his name is, says, well, I didn't shoot the thing, well, several reasons. Number one, it wasn't me, and it wouldn't have been legal. But thank you, Peyton Mac Davis, for calling us Yankees and saying we don't know what we're talking about and calling that fellow hunter a loser.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Blast off. Now, normally I wouldn't make fun of our Southern friends, and I'm not making fun of all of our Southern friends, just Peyton Mac Davis. All right, my friends, I will be back again tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live, where we will start our first Ham for the Holidays giveaway with Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats. I'm going to continue on here talking for the next 12 minutes about several of the topics we have already discussed here. Feel free to stick around, and please join me tonight at 7 o'clock, where you might win a Michigan Brand ham for the holidays. We will have a Michigan Brand at our house for Thanksgiving, as we do at every holiday. Well, maybe not the 4th of July. All right, my friends, have a good day. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome. Welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across this great state of Michigan. And so glad to have you along with us, as I always am. I mean, the fact that you are taking time out from your busy schedule to listen to the broadcast version of the radio show or the podcast version of the show, it means a lot to me. There are so many different shows and podcasts and live streams and all of that. There's so much content out there these days. The fact that you are hearing my voice right now means a lot to me. Thank you so very, very much. Well, last weekend was the firearm deer season opener here in the great state of Michigan. And we had a riot. I was out there with my son James, my grandson Trent, my granddaughter Addison. Trent rode out to the lease property with me, Addison, or Addie as we call her, rode out with her dad, James. Trent says, Grandpa, I'm going to be at your house at 5 o'clock. I'm like, it's a little early, Trent, but you're excited. I'm excited. Let's go. So he shows up at 5 o'clock. We get out to the lease property about 5:30. A few minutes before 6, I get a phone call from James. He's like, good morning. We're just leaving the house. How you doing? I said, well, we're just getting into our stands. He said, what are you doing out there so early? Well, we're excited. That's what we're doing. And you know what? I was glad to get out there early because the stand that I decided to sit in, even though the wind wasn't just right, I was playing the opening day, the Saturday opening day crowd. The stand that I was in was an elevated blind, a soft-sided blind. It's called the Base Camp from Old Man Outdoors. Trent and I had actually put that up over a food plot a couple of months earlier. This food plot is on the far eastern side of our lease property. It's kind of up on a hill. Then it drops off into some really thick stuff, and it goes over to state land. So with it being a Saturday opener, I thought, you know what, there's going to be a bunch of folks over on that state land. So even though the wind isn't just right, I'm going to sit in this spot, and I think those state land hunters will push some deer over to us. So I was glad to be in there early. So I hunkered down. I actually turned the heater on for a couple of minutes. I'm drinking coffee. I'm watching the state land. I didn't see any hunters. I didn't see any flashlights coming through the woods, which kind of surprised me. I was also kind of surprised that we didn't hear more shots. You know, there was this big question about what would a Saturday opener do? Would it drastically increase the number of hunters in the woods, which we are all hoping will happen, and which many people for years have been saying that if we just get a Saturday opener, it will help things out tremendously. Now, I don't have any numbers on the number of hunters who were in the woods for the opening weekend, but I do have numbers. And keep in mind, we're recording this show in the middle of the week, but these are very, very new numbers at this point, and I don't expect they'll change significantly by the time you hear this show. These are from Chad Stewart, who is the head deer guy in the state of Michigan for the DNR. Again, these are not deer hunter numbers, but they are deer harvest numbers. Let me try to summarize. Since opening day, in the 72 hours since opening day, there have been 36,000 and change deer reported. No, this is just opening day. 36,000 deer reported harvested on opening day. This is down from the 42,000 on opening day of 2024. He said that number should continue to grow slowly if some hunters continue to report after the 72-hour window closes. Simply looking, he says, at our harvest numbers, we've seen about a 3% decrease from last year at this time. While nothing is finalized, obviously, I suspect that the Saturday opener really didn't move the needle as it relates to deer harvest, unless our reporting rates have varied wildly between years, which is unlikely. Interesting. So the preliminary numbers make it look like the Saturday opener did not make a big difference. I was thinking it probably wouldn't, but it would have been cool if it did. So how did we do? Well, Addison shot a real nice buck opening night, Saturday night. James shot a big doe Sunday night, second night of the season. Trent did that. James had shot a real nice buck in Illinois a few days earlier. So of the four of us that were in the woods over the weekend, Grandpa's the only one who didn't get anything yet. Well, and I would be Grandpa. It's okay. I am so glad that the grandkids got to harvest animals and to be out there with them and texting back and forth. Boy, that's something that we didn't have when I was growing up, right? You didn't text back and forth to hunters. We can do that now. But to be out there and take our traditional opening day picture with the four of us out there in blaze orange with our guns slung over our shoulders, it was just so nice, so wonderful. I actually haven't even seen a deer yet to take a shot at. And I told you, I'm doe hunting. I want a big doe. Would I shoot a nice buck if it walked in front of me? Yes, but it's not going to happen. Having said that, if it does, what a wonderful surprise. The lease property that we have, and we are very blessed to have access to this property, it's 160 acres, and it's beautiful, but it really doesn't hold deer. We need to give the deer a reason to be there. So we put in food plots, and by we, when I say we, I mean my son James. He did all the work. Put in food plots like we're supposed to, right? Since we can't bait, we put in food plots to attract and hold deer. They didn't work. They're not doing the job. I don't know if it's because they just didn't come up because there was this really, really bad drought right after they were planted. So, I mean, they didn't get any moisture for weeks and weeks. Or, and I don't think this is the case, did the deer just come in and mow them down? I mean, there's nothing there anymore. It's green, but there's not much there. So there's no reason for the deer to come onto this property. I think next year I need to get in touch with Rich Grzan of Killer Food Plots and get him involved to help us out here. We got to do something different because I do know that food plots will work, but they're not working for us. So I also know that there is bait in the area, being used in the area, and I know that that is working. I really wish there was a way for Lower Peninsula deer hunters to have the option of using bait. And I know what some of you are saying, Avery, if you need bait, you're not a very good hunter. Okay. All right. I'm not going to argue that. But I think I typify the average Michigan deer hunter more than I do the hardcore trophy hunters. And God bless you, hardcore trophy hunters, because you deserve these animals you're shooting. You put a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and a lot of hours and a lot of prep, a lot of scouting into this. So you deserve those animals. For those of us who are not that hardcore, we would also like to harvest animals. Not necessarily the trophy quality that you guys are targeting, but just, in my case, a nice doe. I'm not going to shoot it intentionally, not going to shoot a 1.5-year-old buck. If you want to, God bless you. And I mean that, but I'm targeting does, but I'm not even seeing does. So I would like us to be able to have the tools to do that. I'm not talking about the old days about putting a pickup load of sugar beets in front of you, but just have a little something out there to give the deer a reason to stay on the property, to come to the property, to position themselves. Listen, I'm old enough and I've seen enough deer that it doesn't bother me that much to be out there in the cold and not see deer. Would I like to see deer? Absolutely. Is a deer hunting experience more enjoyable when you're seeing deer? Absolutely. So yeah, I would like to see deer. I'd like to get a shot at a deer. But I'm thinking about these younger hunters, who for them, they need to see deer. In order for them to get hooked on this sport of deer hunting, they need to see deer and eventually harvest deer. And if you're in an area where the deer just aren't, you need to encourage them. And well, this opens up a whole can of worms. We have officially kicked off our ham for the holidays with Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats, michiganbrand.net. If you tune in to our Wednesday night live, every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on my live stream, we will be giving away a ham for the holidays, and we will do this right on through the first of the year. So thank you, Nick Grillo, the Grillo family of Michigan Brand Meats. And by the way, Nick is joining me right after the break here on the Outdoor Magazine radio show. Coming up on this week's show, as I say, after the break, Nick Grillo, then Paul Perone of VersaSkins, plus Dan Cook of the Michigan Wildlife Council. In our second hour, Kevin Vistison. Kevin is one of those hardcore deer hunters. I mean, this guy knows his stuff. He works very hard. He's got it dialed in. He's the guy behind the Deer Hunter podcast. I'm going to talk with him to get some advice on hunting this late season. Deer have been hunted now. They've been hunted hard. A lot of them have gone nocturnal. What do we do to try to see deer and harvest deer? Plus, Andy Weiss of Truck Trolley. He's come up with a new accessory for his truck trolley to make it even more valuable. And in hour number 3, Kyle Green of the Greenway Outdoors TV show. Talking to him about his third season on the History Channel and why he is fighting so hard to protect and defend our outdoor lifestyle, specifically our right to hunt and fish and trap. And of course, we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. My name is Mike Avery. This show is called Outdoor Magazine. My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Love to hear from you. Let me know, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Tim's like, try a perennial. We have. Paul, food plots are great, but once the bait is out, it gives them different, yeah. Okay, and just a reminder, my friends, if you want to go over to my Facebook page now and check out the post that I put up there about the bobcat running down the turkey, and this was sent in by Jordan Reed, and Peyton McDavis says, yeah, instead of shooting video, you should have shot the bobcat, you loser. Why don't you go over to my Facebook page and look at some of Peyton's comments and get a real laugh this morning. All right, my friends, I'll be back tonight, 7 o'clock, for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. We'll see you then.